When you're setting up a workshop or a small production line, the biggest fear isn't the price tag, it's ending up with a bench that dents, wobbles, or simply can't hold the tools you need on a day-to-day basis. That dread shows up in every comment thread where people compare a cheap, flat-pack table to a solid work surface that can actually survive the grind. I'm going to walk through the mold maintenance bench, a heavy-duty, polished workbench that measures 1200 by 600 by 800 millimeters, and try to give you a clear picture of where its real value lies, what it can handle, and whether it's the right fit for the kind of work you do. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the environment this bench is built for. It's aimed at anyone who needs a stable platform for mold making, small-scale casting, or any kind of repetitive manual assembly that takes a fair amount of weight and force. If you're a hobbyist who only does occasional repairs on a garage table, you'll probably find this bench overkill. Conversely, if you run a small batch production of silicone molds, woodworking parts, or even a repair shop that sees a lot of heavy tools moving around, the sturdiness and size start to make sense. The most noticeable element is the 8 mm thickened and widened A3 steel plate that forms the top surface. In practical terms, that thickness means you can lean a 30-kilogram block of metal on it without worrying about the plate flexing or making a resonant ping that throws off measurements. In my shop experience, a bench that flexes even a little will cause alignment errors the moment you start tightening bolts or applying pressure. The extra width of the plate also provides a larger working area, which translates to less need for constant repositioning of parts, a small but real time saver when you're running a batch of molds that each need a flat, level surface. Underneath the top, the frame uses 2 mm thickened welded square tubing. That's a detail that matters when you factor in the weight of the bench itself. The whole unit feels solid because the tubing isn't just a decorative cage, it's a load-bearing skeleton that distributes forces from the top across the entire structure. When you slam a heavy tool drawer closed or when you accidentally knock a wrench off the bench, the frame holds up without giving way. The downside is that the added steel adds a lot of weight. The bench weighs roughly 80 kilograms, so you'll need a clear path and possibly a forklift or a set of strong dolly wheels if you plan on moving it frequently. It's not a pick-you-pan-go piece, and that's something to keep in mind if your workspace layout changes often. Speaking of drawers, the heavy-duty ball-bearing drawers are another practical point. Most entry-level benches use simple slide tracks that can bind under load. The ball-bearing system here means the drawer slides out smoothly even when it's packed with metal cutters, small molds, or toolboxes. I've seen cheaper benches where the drawers sag and the slides creak, forcing you to keep the contents light just to avoid damage. With this bench, you can load the drawer close to its rated capacity and still open it without a struggle. The trade-off is that these drawers are a bit more expensive to replace if they ever get dented, and the ball bearings do require occasional lubrication, nothing dramatic, but an ongoing maintenance step that some users overlook. The leveling feet combine carbon steel and PVC components, which is a subtle but useful mix. Carbon steel offers strength, while the PVC part reduces the chance of floor damage and provides a bit of vibration dampening. In a real-world scenario, you'll often find the floor uneven, especially in older industrial spaces. The heavy-duty leveling feet let you adjust each corner individually, so the bench can sit absolutely flat. I've used benches where the leveling screws are either too short or too flimsy, making the adjustment feel like a guessing game. Here, the adjustment range is generous enough to compensate for up to a centimeter of floor unevenness, which is more than sufficient for most shop floors. Now, who should definitely consider this bench? If you're running a small mold shop that makes silicone or polyurethane components and you need a surface that won't warp under the heat of the curing process, the solid steel top is a logical match. The bench also appeals to metal fabricators who need a heavy, stable platform for welding or machining small parts. The integrated structure means you won't have to reinforce the bench yourself. Even serious hobbyists like those who build custom drone frames or high-precision RC parts might find the stability worth the investment, provided they have the space and the floor can support the weight. On the flip side, if you're an occasional DIYer who works on a weekend basis and you're primarily handling light wood projects or electronics, a lighter, more portable workbench would likely serve you better. The mold bench's size 1.2 m long means it can dominate a small garage,